microphone and you make sure that it's not covering too much of your face.
Perfect. Joey,
man, the plant is in the way.
That's major.
The plant is in the way. That's a major issue.
We didn't think about this.
The producer is getting fired.
It's okay. We'll just peek around the nice green lush potato plant here.
It's awake. Welcome to This Week in Sparkling Water. My name is Joakim and I'm your host. Javi, I have a guest today. It's Javi. Javi, do you think that anything is expected of you when you're a guest on the podcast?
You know what?
Honest.
There was like something that was happening internally before we came up here.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about why I even consider it more than just like a normal moment in our day. You know, like this is what we do all the time.
Yes.
We hang out and we talk regardless of whether we have this studio.
Yes. So you had this meta moment of like, why does it feel different if you document 1 hour of it?
Totally. And there was a little like talking me down.
Off the ledge?
off like the pedestal of like whatever it is that this creates in my mind.
I see what you're saying. So what's the answer?
There's no reason for me to think of any different.
Right. Yes, because every moment is the same, and in the end, the universe will implode.
Yeah.
Is that it?
We're all in it together, Joey.
We're definitely in it together. I'm experiencing an extremely heightened sense of nakedness because I just came home from work, and at work, it's a Monday, it's quiet, so for a bit of it, I was just hanging out in the kitchen. Man, this plant is like really in between us. That's so funny. I'm just going to scoot forward
I'm trying
a little bit.
Act like I'm not looking around the plant.
It's so in the way. It's so funny. Okay. So I was just hanging out in the kitchen with my boys in the back.
Yeah.
And there's this one line cook. His name is Isaac. I love this man. And I was just hanging out there shooting the shit, and he was like asking me what I like to do, like what's my hobbies. Mm-hmm. And I hate that I say this. It's so embarrassing, but I said that I have a podcast because he just wanted something, you know? Like we're at work, you know? We don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
So you just want to give something.
Totally.
So I'm like, I review sparkling water every week. And he's like, wow, I'll listen to that. And then he asked what it was called. And then I told them that it was called This Week in Sparkling Water. And then like a fucking short rib came out and I deliver a short rib to table whatever. And then when I come back into the kitchen, like 5 minutes later, they're like 5 minutes into an episode of the podcast being played in the big speakers. And I'm just hearing myself.
No.
I'm just hearing myself, my fucking nasal, horrible, incredibly embarrassing voice being like, sorry, you can hear that my spirit animal is a fucking middle-aged white woman. Which is 5 minutes into the previous episode.
So what was the reaction?
So I was like, okay, turn that off. I'm having a panic attack. And I love those guys. And those guys are fucking nice, so they turned it off right away.
Okay. So
yes.
So what was like the overall reaction that you felt that they gave? Did they even do anything? Did they just like cut it off and that was it?
Yeah, I mean, they're not. I've worked in plenty of places where people are out trying to get you.
Right.
And when there's a little bit of like jockeying, egos, if you're looking for someone's weaknesses and stuff. And this place is not like that at all. Because this was like, I was like, ooh, this is making me super uncomfortable. And if they had any evil bone in their body, they would have pushed it just one more second. But they were all like, oh, yeah, fine.
Right.
And then I was like, and then they were all nice and being like, yeah, we'll listen to it on our own time, okay? It's like, okay. But it's like,
bro, that's so nerve-wracking. I can't imagine. That would just shatter me to bits, actually. I'd quit that day.
You feel me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
listening to your own voice.
I feel like everybody has a problem accepting the sound of their voice.
Yeah, but then I have this weird pathological narcissism thing where I do this podcast. So I don't know, like how do I join those two contradictory things?
Really, it's like, do you enjoy your voice when it's heard in a private setting, or do you have the same effect on the way you feel about your voice when you hear it, regardless of whether you're in public or by yourself?
So, do you listen to any podcasts at all? You don't, right?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
No.
So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I do have this thing where I feel like podcasts are a very intimate sort of free form, just talking. And I think they only work in headphones, and they don't work in speakers at all. Because in headphones, the person is just right there in your head with you. And in speakers, it's like you lose 10% or 30% of what they say, because it's like...
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that matters. Like,
definitely.
I don't know. I have never successfully listened to any podcast in...
in speakers
format,
yeah.
Let me just check if we're even recording, Hav.
Bro, I feel like every time... This is the second time, but I bump into this thing every single time.
What do you bump into? The wall. Well, Javi, the thing about studios and television and the magic of all of this is that these spaces are way smaller than...
This is part of the magic.
The Johnny Carson show was made in a closet.
Really?
No. But very randomly, I just found this incredible... TV show about making... I just watched a TV show just now about making TV in the middle of the night. It's just...
Late night TV.
It wasn't intentional, but it just happened to be super... Oh, Javi, I'm experiencing such a sense of nakedness.
It's good.
So
is it kind of carrying on from earlier?
Yeah. And then, because now I feel like those dudes are going to listen to it. And then, so what I'm going to say now... Isaac, who I love, who put the show on. Then I ordered a sopa de albóndigas. Is this something you've ever heard of? It's like a...
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's like a Mexican soup. It's like the way we make it, it's like a hearty tomato-based vegetable soup that's very, very spicy.
Yeah. With
3 meatballs in it. It's like a beef pork meatball with like this beautiful spice blend.
Sounds good.
It's a great dish. It's very spicy, and I ate it, and...
Isaac served it to you and just didn't say a word. Just like, didn't even make eye contact.
No. I ate it super fast. And when you eat like really spicy soup super fast, I mean, my entire face just melted off really quick. But what I was going to say is like, that like even Chef, like the boss back there, he was like being like, oh, so what's your podcast about? Like, what's it about? And then Isaac made me this soup, and he was like, I put 5 meatballs in there instead of 3. Take it quickly before Chef finds out. So if Chef Eric is listening to this, I want you to know that Isaac was really nice, and he gave me 5 meatballs instead of 3. And he hooked me up. Don't fire him.
Bro, don't fire him, please.
Yeah. I show up to work tomorrow, and Isaac's just off the schedule.
Why'd you have to say what you said?
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry,
I'll never give you meatballs again.
Dude, that soup is awesome.
What is it? Something the bondigas?
Albóndigas. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I haven't really Googled it. Dude, there's a storm outside. Are you hearing this?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know why...
It's wild out there right now.
I don't know why I have this pathological thing where I want to say what I shouldn't say. Like, on the podcast, I just do that every single time.
That's actually kind of therapeutic, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's like, now it feels like I shouldn't have said that. Dude.
Well, there's always...
God damn it.
The privilege of being able to start over.
No. We don't do that.
I know you don't do that.
We don't do that. And season 2, as of episode 51, the season is with video. We don't even edit it.
No. It is... So whatever we did... Before
I edited
the clap?
Yeah.
That's going on the podcast.
The clap is to synchronize the 3 tracks.
Right. Okay.
There's 2 audio tracks and a video track.
Yeah.
And then with the clap, I just pull them next to each other because I can see the clap visually as a waveform.
That makes sense.
That's what the clap is in a movie thing too.
Snap to synchronize all the audio.
Yeah, the clapboard.
Yeah, I never realized that.
That's
I always wondered what the purpose of that was.
It's like they write on the clapboard what the scene is and what the take is and what the date is or whatever you need to keep track of it in editing. Mm-hmm. And it as like just imagining editing like having thousands of takes total. Yeah. It must be so confusing if you don't have like that stuff. Mm-hmm. But the first thing that the first time I had that feeling of like just wanting to say the thing I shouldn't say and saying it and then feeling really bad.
And
it's
then
like
knowing I was going to be like broadcast on a podcast.
Yeah. The first, I did this really mean thing of my friend wrote this book and sent it to me and then I talked for an entire episode about how shitty it was.
You told me about this.
It was super mean.
Dude, I've still yet to even listen to it. But
awful.
Yeah, when you told
Can't
me
believe
about
I did that. And then that's what I do. And like last episode, I talked about that witch girl for like 30 minutes about everything that's wrong with her.
Did you really?
Yeah. Javi. And then the whole time I'm like, I can say this because she's so self-absorbed that she doesn't even know that I have a podcast, so she won't listen to this. Shit. But it's like, I don't know that.
Does she know that? She does know that you have a podcast.
I don't know.
I feel like when you first started talking to her, she went ahead and took it upon herself to listen to your podcast and told you. I just listened to like 2 of your podcasts.
Nah, that's not her.
No?
That must have been some other girl. Yeah.
Who was that?
Yeah, that was one of the other girls.
I swear, it had been
it had a witchy vibe,
witchy feel to it. It was a signature of a witch.
You're not making me feel better, Hav. That's for sure. Dude, I was scathing.
Oh,
ugh.
Yeah, or you could just do one better and send it to her.
Yeah, dude, I did that once. Like this one time, I just had this sort of like I worked at this Greasy Spoon diner called Blue Star in Seattle. That was like the place it was my first restaurant I worked at, and I worked there for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then when I quit, I sort of did this episode where I just like, just thought about funny stories from Blue Star. Yeah. And then the middle segment of the whole podcast, like for 20 minutes, I talked about this bartender who was clearly a drug addict and who had this pencil case, and she would go in the bathroom and just do... We don't know which drug.
Just like, doing whippets in the back.
But like downer, like a heroin maybe.
Yeah,
like some opioid epidemic related thing. And then like a psychopath, I forgot that I talked about her a bunch, and I just like sent it to some of my Blue Star friends, and I sent it to her.
Shit, no way.
And she never responded. Oh, God damn it, Hav.
Dude,
this is turning into such a like.
Is she still alive?
Yeah, she never responded to me, but she did. Last thing I heard is that a couple of months ago she went into. This is from my Seattle peeps. She went into Ha in Fremont, which is a bar named HA exclamation mark Ha, because the owner has this really rambunctious laugh.
Oh, okay.
She's just this large, jovial white woman who just like laughs like, ha!
Yeah.
So the bar is called Ha. Anyway.
Bro.
Danielle, now I even said her name. Danielle found her way into Ha. and she was talking to Julie Kennedy, who will be on the next episode of the podcast, who's coming to visit in California on Monday.
Nice.
Yes. Julie Kennedy is the bartender. Danielle is the crackhead. So Danielle comes in and tells Julie, oh, yeah, so I might move down to California. I'm thinking about moving to Grass Valley. And then Julie is like, oh, Joey lives there.
And then all her plans changed.
And then she's like, oh, yeah, he has that podcast. That's what she said as a response. This episode is making me feel terrible so far.
Yeah, but you know what? You're just like, you're purging whatever feeling
I guess,
that you had going on. Now it's not just an internalized thing. It's actually being expelled in some way. I feel
so naked, though. Those guys over there, it's incredible how positive of a space it is at that workspace, though. And it's like in any other workplace, if I'd had an even similar thing, I would have quit on the spot.
Right.
But there's such positive, like it's a very positive. Yeah, it's very strangely positive.
I mean, yeah, I've only been there twice since it's opened.
Yeah.
One of them was for dinner, and then the next time was when I went to go pick up the key, and we went out for your birthday the next day.
You had a bad one, and you had a good one. You weren't impressed the first time.
Not at
all. With the food.
Yeah. But I also didn't eat food the second time. I just had a drink.
Yeah. No, but like, I'm going to serve you some food from that place Monday.
It's going to be hard to top, Joey. They broke bottles of mezcal for me.
Oh, yeah, the second visit. Bottles were smashed.
Yeah.
So the one funny thing that happened there this week that I'm now going to recount is that I had this one weird experience where this was 2 nights ago. I have a 3-top. One of the ladies comes up to me on the sly on the side, and she's like, "It's the other girl's birthday." These are people in their 60s. She's like, "It's the other girl's birthday. Could you get her a slice of chocolate cake with a candle? And we'll surprise her with that." And I'm like, "Bro, I love it. Let's do it." So I show up at the end of the meal, I show up with a slice of chocolate cake. And you know what? Sometimes I get in the mood and I sing happy birthday. Okay? I just go for it. And me and the gentleman at the table, the third person, we go pretty hard in the paint on singing happy birthday. And we're singing at the top of our lungs. And then immediately becomes clear that the 3 people that are just sort of 3 tables that are sort of adjacent to their table are just professional choir singers.
And they hop in.
And these people have no choice. Their brain just like goes into that groove, and they're just like harmonizing perfectly. Perfect pitch, loud harmonizing. And to have 9 people just jump in on bar 2 creates this like mass hysteria ripple effect.
In the whole restaurant.
All 60 people in the room, top of their lungs, at the best of their ability. Like, I am not good at singing, but we have this like core of 9 people in the middle that have like pitch perfect, like different harmonies.
So basically everybody else that's singing makes them sound like they're pitch perfect.
Yes, but it's like this mountain where they are in the middle, and then everyone else is singing. We're just screaming at the top of our lungs, happy birthday.
Totally.
And when we get to the name, everyone just screams Madeline. And that's not like her name. I don't know what happened there either.
How did that collectively
the whole thing was so cult-like and like so
strange,
psychedelic and weird.
Yeah.
And then when it ended, we all just like, it was like waking up out of anesthesia or something.
Totally.
We were all... And then the lady who instigated told me to get the cake. She was just like, "Well, that was weird."
She didn't like it.
That's what she told me. I mean, everyone was kind of weirded out because it was like too much. Like we all lost control.
Yeah.
For a moment, we just lost ourselves.
It was like an out-of-body experience for everybody.
Bro, and it was like, weird shit happens. And then people are like, "I was abducted by aliens." But no.
Yeah.
It's just like the human experience is inherently weird. You don't even need the aliens.
Yeah, and there doesn't really have to be an explanation for it.
No.
It just happened. That was one of those moments where it just like overwhelmingly took over everybody's consciousness and became a solid, like unified consciousness.
Yeah. And I don't have more of an explanation. It's true.
No.
You're right.
Who has the energy to actually put the effort into figuring out why?
We're just on to the next one,
Dude.
The fucking human mystery around here.
But you compelled people to just inexplicably...
I mean, she tipped me $100 at the end, so...
Even though she said, that was weird.
No, she liked it.
I mean, yeah, she had to have liked it.
Yeah,
she invoked it in the first place, right?
The other thing I'm going to say on this episode is my other goal for this episode, I'm going to try not to speak in a Southern accent. Just a little challenge for me. Because sometimes you and me just are in a car for hours or something.
Yeah, and then it just becomes...
And we just speak in a Southern accent for hours.
It becomes a very confusing thing, actually, for some reason. It's like, am I Southern?
That's the thing. You're from El Paso, bro.
I am Southern. It makes me question, like, how Southern am I?
And dude,
you know,
me, it's like, I just sound like super generic American, but in Sweden, I'm from the South. And the South in Sweden, randomly, is also a place where there's like all the rural stuff, all the farms, we grow all the food, and everyone thinks we're ignorant, and we have a really ridiculous accent that everyone makes fun of. And it just has all these like similar... like it's embarrassing to be from there, and then you move to a big city and you try to get rid of your accent and all of that shit.
And you become somewhat self-conscious of your accent because you're aware that it's different and it's recognizable.
Yeah, but you don't. Yeah, everyone has that moment when you're a kid. You don't know that you sound ridiculous.
No, yeah, like,
and then you grow up.
I was dating a girl that had no idea her Rhode Island accent was what it was. Until she moved to California, and all of a sudden it was like everybody just pointed out the fact that her accent was what it was.
What was it?
Rhode Island.
Yeah, but can you imitate it?
I mean, dude, no. It was like a very, very distinct. It's kind of like a New Jersey type.
Oh,
accent,
it's not like a fancy New England thing?
No.
Okay,
no.
It's like a trashy sounding thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very distinguishable sound.
Oh, yeah.
You know. But
Rhode
yeah,
Island.
I guess, yeah, it would be like not one of the most desirable type of accents, you know? Like if you recognize it, you'd be like, oh yeah, you're from fucking Rhode Island or whatever.
Few accents are, bruh.
You know, yeah. Or you're like past the turnpike or whatever. Like people have that notion, and that's how she felt about it. And she did everything to just get rid of it.
Past the turnpike?
Yeah, like the Jersey Turnpike. Yeah. Like if you lived in that, I think it was like past the Jersey Turnpike or like...
Okay, you have a specific accent.
There is like a specific tone and way that you speak that you know that's where you live and that's where you come from.
And you know this because you were banging this girl. Yeah. Yeah. You learned about the world.
We learned about this.
Through the tip of your penis.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have any idea.
I have no clue.
If she wasn't pretty... you wouldn't know anything about Rhode Island.
No, have no idea about it, Joey. Joey, are we gonna?
So here's the thing.
What happened with? Are we transitioning to glasses now?
Yes, I'm gonna buy a flight paddle, which is the thing they give you when they give you a beer flight in a restaurant on a piece of wood. You have a piece of wood with holes, notches, so the glass can sit in the little round holes or whatever. I'm going to buy one of those on Amazon.
Bro, that's
But until then, oh, Jesus. Until then, we're doing this. Yeah, we're not doing...
no more straight out the bottle.
We're not doing solo cups right now.
Oh, that's right, because we did the little...
We did solo cups last night.
Yes.
So, this episode, we're doing elderberry. Elderflower. I think those are the same thing. There's the berry, there's the flower.
And then there's flower, yeah.
So... I brought 3 brands of sparkling water from Sweden that all do an elderflower version. They all do elderflower. So elderflower is like ubiquitous in Sweden.
So when you ask me downstairs, you have a brand of each.
Yeah, I have 3 elderflower here.
3 different, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So here's the most iconic sparkling water in Sweden, Ramlösa, which is so iconic that they don't even write the name on it anymore. You know, like how Coca-Cola just stopped writing Coca-Cola on it for a bit?
Yeah.
And just wrote, what's up, or whatever? This is like that. These people stole that from Coca-Cola. Because they just write rocka, which just means to rock out. And it's like so cringe.
Yeah.
It's like so corporate cringe. Mm-hmm. Like when corporate tries to be cool.
Yeah.
But the name is Ramlösa and is written on the cap. So this is Fläder Lime. Fläder being... Shit, what was that sound?
Yeah, what happened? Should we
that's a sketchy sound.
take a look?
No, that's all right. That sound implies that the USB came undone, but we're fine. So anyway, let's try it. Let's smell it first. This is fun because I haven't actually.
Why is it just like it's like the humidity is fucking with it?
Wait, the computer? Yeah, the humidity is fucking with it. Let's smell it. So,
that's good.
Oh, dude, this brings me back. It smells good, dude. We have so many elderberry flavored, like Kool-Aid type things in Sweden when you're a kid.
Yeah,
you go elderflower in
Wow.
Sweden. Yeah, you don't go red and blue. You go elderflower.
Yeah,
which sounds fancy, but it's super working class and shit.
Bro.
Okay, let's try it.
I need to get some elderflower Kool-Aid.
Dude.
That's fucking good.
That's not bad at all.
Bro, this is exactly why you do this. Because back home, you started off drinking.
Yeah. The good shit.
This is the stuff.
This is really good. It's like gentle lime just to balance it out. Like any cocktail has a little splash of simple syrup and a little splash of lime or lemon to just give it that mid-palate zing balance that really just opens the mind up to whatever the other flavors are. And then this is like, it's just gentle elderflower.
Dude. It's actually floral. It's like a natural floral.
Yeah.
It's not just this synthetic weird created in the lab.
Beautiful. Give me, you're not done.
Yeah.
I have this tiny little weird glass cup, so.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've actually fully enjoyed one of these waters.
Yeah, the last time we had some bad ones. Yeah. Last time tasted a little bit like urine. That's how you said
urine.
It. Whoa. You know what? The thing I didn't say when you said that last time is that I have this uncle. It's my aunt's husband. His name is Göran. But my American aunt pronounces it urine. But what I was going to say that is the weird thing that connects those things is that since you got this haircut, you look like her other husband.
Really?
Yeah, you look like this guy that my aunt was married to when I was a kid. Like in Sweden, everyone looks the exact same and everyone is blonde.
And then there's a guy that looks like me.
But she married this one guy who was like British. And he had black curly hair. And he was like a rocker.
Oh, man.
And they just got this. Look, I'm going to say this, and you're not going to understand how weird it was in a Swedish context, but they got this house in the middle of the woods, and he had snakes. And I remember being a kid running around in the grass, and there were just like these big boas just going in the grass.
What? He had them free.
I mean, he would take them out.
He would take them out and let you run.
And let them go in the garden while we were hanging out.
Really?
You know?
Was it an enclosed garden?
I don't think so.
No.
Nah, dude, we were in the woods, dude. Nah, he was wild. But he had that haircut. That's the haircut of a man who
lives in the woods with.
Yeah, and she divorced him because she had to take care of his finances. You know, he couldn't take care of his own finances.
Yeah, he bought too many snakes.
He was just like too chill, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
that's such good water. Can we score this? This is a 9 out of 10,
dude. I was about to say is somewhere in the 9 range for sure.
It's just so fun and different.
This one's the best one. I mean, it's like, I'm just going to go ahead and say it's the best one I've ever had.
Sparkling water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's funny. Yeah, that's cool. Ramlösa. Dude, it was so fucking hard to find these in Sweden. Christ.
Why? Because they were just sold out everywhere?
I don't know. They just kept having the wrong ones everywhere.
Oh. They just what do you mean? Like they just had
the wrong flavors. They just kept having like I go in these massive grocery outlet style grocery stores and they would just have one flavor. Like an entire aisle would just be one flavor. And all the Swedish drone people who pay 60% income tax and just do what the government says. They just like, okay, this is the flavor I'm doing today.
Yeah, totally.
I only get one choice. That's how Americans see Swedish people.
Yeah, pretty much. That's my interpretation.
Oh, God. So funny.
Oh, there it goes again.
What?
I'm going to have to shave these elbows down, Joey.
You hit it? Yeah, dude. It's a fucking cramped studio.
I mean, I really like the potato plant.
The potato plant is really nice. Okay, Hav, I want to try to talk to you about. You're the only person that I love enough that I want to have this. I want to try to talk about COVID and like how you have. I have all these questions of how you do things so well that I really struggle with, of how you don't participate in the teams, the political teams, the cultural teams.
Yeah.
There's this fluidity to you where you don't have an allegiance. You just have this like loving participation in humanity.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, I've never thought about it, but
because it comes natural to you.
It's just like the way that I am, I guess. Yeah.
So let me try to describe some feelings that I have in certain situations, and I want to see if you ever have these feelings.
Okay.
Or if it's just like The Spotless Mind of the Sunshine or whatever that movie is called.
Some Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to have some Jim Carrey moments here.
Yeah. Like, if I'm extremely painfully, embarrassingly honest, there are moments like whenever I go to San Francisco, I hang out with my uncle and my aunt, and then like I argue. They just have Fox News on, and they love Trump, and especially the aunt and her friend, they think that Trump is still the president. And that they believe like every single conspiracy around COVID and the vaccine. Like they believe that the vaccine test, that the swab up your nose like inserts
the vaccine itself,
or inserts something that just tracks you, or like some little nanobots.
Yes,
nanobot krill-shaped insectoid.
Right. Yeah.
Thing that
I've heard this. Yeah. This is something that's circulating.
Like we've seen the photos through a microscope of something that looks like a fucking spider, and it's like supposed to be somewhere, and it's introduced in you somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
And so I sit down with them, and I'm like, well, first of all, I really try to get them to get the vaccine because they are old and not so healthy. And it's like, for them, it's less of a joke. So I've like emailed with her a lot where I like try to really do this, apply compassion. Because I really believe that like facts is not really it. It's more like compassion and like humanity.
Right, yeah.
Is how you like reach someone. But then she got COVID. And then there's some sort of like team feeling there, like as if I won some argument.
So, do you feel? Does it feel like there's a team feeling coming from her or from you?
Both of us.
So you both are projecting some sort of like you won the argument, and it's like
no, but I mean she lost the argument when she.
Right, but she's saying herself like you won the argument. Like this is what she's projecting to you.
Honestly, the weird thing is when she got COVID, I didn't even see her.
No,
because she had COVID.
Of course, yeah. Oh, I remember you telling me this.
Yeah.
Because your uncle and aunt live in the same building, right?
Yes. They rent these units where he has the apartment on the second floor and she has the apartment on the third floor.
Yes.
And her best friend has the apartment on the fourth floor.
Totally.
And they are neighbors.
Yes.
They used to be married, they got divorced, and now they rent these units like that. Mm-hmm. Which is curious. But I see myself doing that.
I mean, that's kind of just an old traditional way of developing later on in life. It's like they just want the next step past getting separate beds that are like on opposite sides of the room.
Yeah.
You know, like our grandparents probably. Yeah. Your grandparents probably did. Mine did.
Yeah.
But so you're feeling like...
I'm feeling a guilty feeling of... It's almost as if I feel good. Which is so guilty because it's like it's like a family member that I love who is now sick, and then one part of my brain that is like programmed by this like brainwashed by this like team mentality, this competitive cultural that brainwashed part of my brain feels good, that I'm winning some argument here.
The desire to be right.
Yeah, the desire to be right, the desire to... Yeah, that's really close to the core of it, wanting to be right, and wanting the other person to, like, admit that they are wrong, which no one has ever done.
Right. I mean, that's kind of the problem with argument in the first place, is that everybody is just kind of in that state of, like, brainwashed, I'm right, and no matter what debate angle you take, whether it's, like, political or, like, where you stand with the vaccine or what you think is, like, appropriate to do when you raise your children or whatever the subject is.
Yeah.
Like, everybody has this slight desire to feel validated on the way that they believe things should be.
Yeah.
You know?
Some people have a strong desire even.
Yeah. A whole lot
the thing with kids is a big thing too, because they're all so connected. Like, he's going to be mad that I talk about this on the podcast, but I got this buddy, his name is Asher, and he made the intro music, and he's getting married, and he invited like 250 people or something, and then his fiance's parents are... He's having a personality meltdown about this. It's really funny for me to talk about this openly on the podcast, but that's just what we're doing this episode.
It's going to be one of those moments again.
I mean, I'm going to feel bad after I say this.
Bad. Yeah.
But so his fiance's parents are like extreme anti-vaxxers who are like super angry about it.
Okay.
And they're like very... They made them change the invitation to the wedding so that it complies with the government thing of how you get arrested if you put more than 50 unvaccinated people together in New Zealand. Mm-hmm. So they made it a wedding of only 50 people. So Asher, in the last couple of days, he had to sit down and personally call 150 people and be like... uninvite 150 people.
You're not that important.
Yeah. Just like the same horrible conversation over and over and over.
That's so bad.
So my other buddy was like, Dr. Sutherland was like, he hasn't responded for 4 days. I'm very worried about him. I feel like there might be some major meltdown going on.
No. Have you heard of?
Well, yeah, apparently he responded.
Okay.
But it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad, and the thing about it is that regardless of what you think about the vaccine, because the thing to say out loud here is that I'm vaccinated, you're not vaccinated, and just on our actions there, we're different.
Right.
But like the thing about it, regardless of what your opinion is like if you let your in-laws decide things and then you have kids, and then like where do you draw the boundary? It's like how much are the in-laws allowed to decide what you do and what you do with your kids and everything?
That's a difficult thing.
It's dicey as fuck, dude.
Because you're also wanting to respect your in-laws.
Absolutely.
But you also want a level of respect from your in-laws to be like, it's your choice. It really, to me, I feel as if it should always be left to the individual's choice.
Yeah, but
it's like, why?
Yeah, but you have a tribe, huh?
That's the thing.
You have a family,
right? They're gonna expect you to consider everybody.
Yeah, this American thing of just like I'm an individual, like that doesn't work if you're a group of people and you're all a family. That's true. At the bottom of it, there's kids, and decisions have to be made.
Yeah, that's a tough thing.
Yeah,
that's really
thorny.
Tough thing. Dude, what do you do?
And it's painful. But I think on some level, the modern answer is that like the parents are ultimately the people who decide what happens to the kids.
Yeah. I mean, they're the guardians. They should...
Yeah, and the grandparents just are not the ultimate decidinators.
Not at all. Even though they are the elders.
Yeah.
The
old school answer is more like...
In the old days, that would be like the elders have seniority over everything.
Yeah. There's an olden day version of it.
Kind of There's something to that.
Yeah. It's just so tough because this one it has like a personal health implication, and people feel like it's so woven into like reality. Like it's just like a harder disagreement than other disagreements because it's so woven into reality, like how these in-laws in this example who believe that there's like this strong government strong government conspiracy. Yeah, I don't know, that it's just
so that's the angle that they have.
They have all the different angles, bro.
Is that they think they're on the conspiracy
Dude, that's
side.
Everyone's angle, bro.
This is the conspiracy side.
Every anti-vaxxer is like, I mean...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's the angle. There's two ways. There's two type of people in the world.
It's divided.
Yeah.
Two.
And it's two realities.
Two halves. Like, yeah. Totally.
And how do you not participate again, Hob?
I mean, I have my personal beliefs.
Tell me, Hob.
But I choose not to create a environment where it's even a considerable thought, because what does it matter for anybody else?
That's such a harmonious, enlightened...
Like that's what I believe in. What's the point of even bringing up the subject if it's just going to cause some sort of like conflict, or even like possibly divide you further than somebody that you don't know. You know, it's like you already have a relationship with somebody, and if you get along with them, then you obviously get along with them.
Is this answer now tailored to me?
No, this is tailored to everybody.
So do you feel like you lean into the opinion and feel like voicing the opinion a little bit more if you feel like everyone around you sort of agrees with? Like, are you more entertained with having the conversation if you're surrounded by people who agree with you?
No, not at all.
That's the thing, dude. That's another side of the enlightened posture that you live your life with. Like, you just it's so healthy, Hav. It's so healthy. Because that's the thing, that's the thing I've had to say with, there's some people around here that really argue with me about anti-vaxxing and stuff, and I have had to just realize with myself that, like, I love those people. Those people are my friends.
Exactly.
And arguing about vaccines, it's an act of disconnecting.
Totally.
That creates this extremely uncomfortable feeling of disconnection.
Yeah.
In my heart. And it's
it's profound enough to where you notice it.
Yeah. No, it keeps me up at night, Hav. Dude, I lay awake for hours just writhing in this feeling of uncomfortable disconnection and fear and vertigo, and just like falling through the darkness of having no common ground with people that I love.
Totally. It's an unnecessary subject that people are touching on more frequently than is necessary. It's like, there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
And it's a frenzy, it's like, that's the thing. It doesn't matter what side you choose. It's like, if you choose to dispute whether somebody else is wrong or not, you're basically just like out for blood if everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird frenzy mentality. It's like almost kind of a primal trigger that people go through, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like you just killed something and you're ready to eat and starving.
Yeah. That's what it is, huh?
That's how I feel it is.
Yeah. It's like the modern day version of that.
Yeah, because we don't have anything else that's
spear chucking.
Yeah, dude, definitely. Take it down. It's like whatever it is. It's almost like a lion chasing something because it's running.
Yeah,
and like all the lions fucking just hop in because of the movement and the frenzy and the excitement.
That analogy really speaks to me because, like, if you ever see a dog chilling, and then there's a squirrel, and the squirrel runs, it's like the dog does not have a choice there.
No.
The dog just, like, explodes. every muscle in the dog just tenses up and it runs after the squirrel.
Yeah.
So instantaneously. And like, that's how I feel with the vaccine conversation.
Totally.
Like my mind is like,
that's exactly what it is.
It's just seeking. It's just like, it's just like the crosshair is just following this fucking vaccine conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck.
Dude.
It's so fucking involuntary. God damn it, it sucks, Hob.
Yeah.
God damn it, if I could change something about myself, it would be to just like get this like super enlightened view that you have.
You just need to learn how to override it or not care is what it is.
God
like
damn it, how I care so much.
It's like, why?
I care like a motherfucker.
Yeah. I mean, maybe in some people's eyes, I may seem irresponsible for not caring, and it might not be such an enlightened perspective that I have, you know?
I mean, on one level, you can absolutely make that argument, but I also feel like on a higher level, almost everyone, because not everyone, there are frenzied people on both sides, but almost everyone feels like this is just really uncomfortable and unfortunate that we're all in this. Like, because everyone has family members. Like, everyone experiences these, like, the feeling of how the conflict isn't handled well.
Yeah.
So there's a separate problem. There's not just a problem of not everyone agrees with me. There's the other problem of, like, we're not handling this fact that not everyone agrees well. Like, we're handling it poorly.
Definitely.
But it's like, bro, and like, if I can be diplomatic for a second, there are many things that I am happy to admit. And it's like I think there are crazy people, crazy right-wingers who are like, believe in all these crazy conspiracy theories. And I think they're in a crazy frenzy and there's all this crazy stuff. But on the exact, like, there's a mirrored thing. Like, we live in reality and we have eyes, and you walk down the street and you constantly see people who are like sitting alone in their car with their windows down and they're wearing a mask. And it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like those people are crazy.
Bro, we went to fucking CVS earlier and there was somebody driving with their window down.
Yeah.
And had a mask on.
Like, what? Does that person thinks that mask is magical?
I don't know.
Like, what kind of voodoo are we invoking here?
Well, the funny thing to me is, like, how do you choose to believe one bit of information, like, when it comes out versus another bit of information when it comes to, like, masking up? Because it's proven that the mask doesn't work. And if anything, if there's certain masks that spread it or make it more of like an aerosol available particulate.
So I think there's a little bit of nuance to it. It's not completely black and white. I think it's largely masks are useless. There are specific situations. If you're like in a closed space and you're going to be in that closed space for a short time and you have to be with people in that closed space and you put on a fresh surgical mask and you run that experiment 10,000 times, then the fresh surgical mask versus the sample group where you run it 10,000 times and they don't do that. Yes, there's like a specific small...
There's a variable that's different.
It can help a little bit with spreading a thing like that.
Yeah.
To just have the droplets be on the surgical mask. And then there are so many caveats to it.
Okay.
And it's like... Yeah, masks can be dirty and masks can spread all this other stuff.
Right.
And like the thing people talk about in Sweden, because in Sweden no one wears a mask, dude. It's like that Swedish scientists are like, yeah, but there's all these like behavioristic things about it where you wear a mask and then you touch your face more.
Yeah.
And so we're not totally clear on like, does that make you spread it more? Do you touch your eyes more when you have a mask? Do you touch your nose more when you have a mask?
These are all things that should be considered.
Yeah, and it's like it's a little bit complicated. But so, yeah. But it's also like, I don't know. Now we're getting too close to the content of it because I don't want to talk about the content of it.
Yeah.
Because the content of it is like, it's its own thing. Like anyone can Google the content of it.
Totally.
But the content of it is, but as a meta thought about the content of it, it's like the proper attitude, I would say, to have towards like just our understanding of anything is to be open to always be modulating your opinion and adjusting your opinion as we get more and more information about it.
Right.
Like, there's nothing inherently wrong about like the like consensus sort of shifting constantly. Like, because that's what happens.
And that's the way humanity has evolved.
Yeah. Like, humanity and humanity's understanding of shit.
Yeah,
is like,
exactly.
It's like there because like my uncle will use that as a fucking argument and be like, well, in the beginning of the pandemic, they said masks don't work at all. And then they say they work. And it's like, bro, that's not a good argument, because it's like, we're supposed to be changing our opinions as we get more information.
Yeah.
And it's like this thing where really early in the pandemic, two political groups picked sides. Like one of those, like,
Yeah.
like how on the playground where you get to pick one guy and the other team picks one guy and then you pick one guy, and it's like the left is like, okay, we pick masks, and the right is like, okay, we pick no masks, and it's like the right is like, we pick anti-vax, and then you just end up with these buckets, and you're completely stuck with these buckets.
Totally.
And you're completely immune to new evidence or updating your opinion.
Yeah.
In both directions.
Totally.
And so, like, I know that there are crazy people on the left. And also, like, I know that there's lots of conspiracies, bro.
Totally.
And, like, one fucked up one is, like I read this one story recently of like this lady who, she's just like a science writer, and her Twitter was just like over and over, she's just like, oh, everyone go get the vaccine, and then all of her kids got the vaccine, and then one of her kids got this side effect that can't happen, which is like you get an inflammation of like your heart muscle, and you have to go to the hospital for a bit. It's like very rare. And the scientific consensus is that it happens, but like the risk of getting COVID and getting something bigger, I'm getting very close to the content of the conversation now. But like,
that always happens. It's always going to veer.
Yes.
And yeah.
But the point is that like one of her kids had a vaccine side effect, and then that created this enormous hospital bill because the kid was in the hospital for like 5 weeks, and then suddenly no one wants to pick up the bill for this, like this 150 grand or whatever.
I mean, what do you do?
To the hospital, and it's like all the propaganda about the vaccine is like it's free and it's safe and effective, and it's like the point of the free there is that it's free, and if you have a side effect, we as the government are going to pay for your hospital bills if you have one of these rare side effects, and they don't. Yeah,
that's the thing. It's a questionable.
Yeah, it's like fucked up.
How could that? Well, that's the thing, is that there's that acknowledgement for vaccine companies putting things out, and they don't have to. It doesn't matter what happens to you.
The reality of this is pretty complicated, and it's there's right-wing propaganda about how it's like, oh, they have absolutely no liability. The reality is like these are like evolving legal cases and stuff. Yeah. And I'm just like, I just want to acknowledge that it's like some of these like insurance companies don't love paying bills.
No, that's not what they're in business for.
Yeah, they love not paying bills. So it's like, as much as I'm like trying to get everyone to get vaccinated, it's like I'm also out here acknowledging that like the world is not perfect.
Yeah,
and, like there's all this fucked up.
Trying to get some insurance coverage, and they're like, "Do you have diabetes? Do you have heart disease? Are you expecting to get any type of surgery in the next 6 months? Like any pre-existing?"
Yeah. That's a pre-Obamacare thing, though, because Obamacare made it illegal to even consider pre-existing things.
Okay.
It's one of those beautiful things that Barack Obama did for America.
See, that's great. I had no
It is great.
I had no idea.
Yeah, pre-existing condition.
So now they can't. That's legally.
Yes. You get sick and you don't have insurance, and you call the insurance company and get health insurance, and they have to cover you for everything.
That's great.
Even though you got it the day before you signed up.
Dude,
that's just how they have to do it.
I had no clue.
Yeah, it's one of those beautiful, beautiful things that are one of the many, many aspects of the beautiful set of laws that are called the Affordable Care Act, that we like to refer to as Obamacare. But okay, so yeah.
Back to the main point. What was?
I don't know. The main point is the guilty feeling. The other big time I felt the guilty feeling is, I mean, it's been some time now, so I'm going to say some things about this that doesn't totally anonymize him. I'm going to out this guy a little bit. But it's like I had this one coworker in Seattle, and he was a huge Trump supporter, and he was like the only Trump supporter I almost ever met in Seattle. And him and me, we both like speak Chinese, so we like had this thing we connected over when we worked together. And like, I don't mind being friends with the Trump supporter, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so he was like, I was like one of his only friends because he kind of, it's a long thing, but like, we were friends for a long time. And then I quit there, and then he would come into the other place I worked at because he liked the next restaurant I worked at. So he would like come and eat, and I would serve him all the time.
Yeah.
And we were buds, and he was actually going to come on the podcast, but the pandemic made everything so fucking difficult to just like do things in person. Not around here so much, but
no, we don't experience that. Not to the fullest degree that it's ever been.
In Seattle, you became very cocooned.
Yeah, I could imagine.
When the COVID happened, you became very cocooned.
Yeah.
And then he would come into the restaurant where I worked, and I would serve him, and he would talk about how fucking Trump is so great, and this was like, 9 months into the pandemic, he'd be like, COVID is a fucking scam, dude. Complete scam. They're just trying to get Trump to lose the election. 100% a scam. And then, January of this year, he got COVID, dude, and he got so fucking sick. And he's like 30 years old, hits the gym like a motherfucker, is ripped.
Yeah.
Is in, he doesn't drink alcohol. Has no bad habits. He just like works all these jobs, makes all this money.
Yeah.
It's super successful. He has a Instagram account with like 200,000 followers where he just reviews food and takes food pictures. Mm-hmm. He's just like an incredibly high-powered, successful person.
Yeah.
And then he's 30 years old, and he gets COVID, and he had like 5 types of organ failure.
Really?
And he was super sick. Like, he was like, he thought he was going to die.
He was on like basically almost on life support. I mean, he had to be on life support if he had organ failure.
He was in trouble. And then after that, it's like, to me, it was just such a like incredibly weird experience, because then after that, first of all, I check in with him, and he's like, don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone that I got COVID, which is already fucked up. Like, why is there a stigma with COVID?
Yeah, well, there's also that self-awareness of like, I was so against it even existing.
Yeah, or screaming about how it's a scam to everyone.
And that would just shatter his whole persona.
Yes. And then, naturally, he became apolitical afterwards.
Okay.
He just like gave up on politics for a bit.
That makes sense.
Unfortunately, yes. And then also with that, like, he's my bro, but it's like he got super sick, and then a part of me, this like brainwashed part of me, feels good that I'm now winning the argument.
There's that inner weird, like, I'm right.
Yeah.
The demon that comes from within is like standing on your shoulder. Just like, we did it.
Yeah.
We did it. We told them.
He's sick. That's great.
Yeah.
So bad.
It's so bad.
I feel so guilty.
Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about, though. Like, there are things, and I can't really, there's times where I think about moments where it's like, why am I kind of feeling like whatever is like a misfortune for somebody else, and it has something to do with how I'm right. Why do I feel good about it? And these like very minute feelings, and they're very momentary. They're just like little blips of a thought. It's like, and this kind of like bloodthirsty, joyous feeling. You know, it's a very primal thing, I think. Yeah. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
But they're small for you.
They're very small and
short-lived.
I like notice them instantly, and like spray some weed killer.
Oh,
you know,
because
it's just like, what is that?
Yeah.
And I try to just like plow it over with like a steamroller.
Yeah, and not cultivate that feeling.
No.
And it's not like I'm trying to cultivate that feeling, but for me it's like, yeah, it's just a bigger thing. I don't know.
I mean, it's a natural thing, Joey. I think a lot of this, for the most part, that's what everybody's...
Yeah,
that's what everybody goes through.
It's unfortunate. It makes me feel guilty.
But the good thing is that you're actually acknowledging it and speaking about it. Most people wouldn't ever even think about voicing it to the public.
We're doing a podcast episode about it.
Bro. I don't know how many viewers you got, but...
You know what fucking sucks? You know what I hate? That the podcast is available on all these different podcast platforms where you just listen to the audio, like Spotify.
That's a good one. That's a good new one, Joe. Spodcast.
The Spud Bowl. It's like a potato one. Spudcast. Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Stitcher. It's available on all of those, and I have an unknown number of listeners on those. And then there's no, like, when you check it on there, there's no counter where you as a viewer, as a listener, can see how many people listened. Okay. But the one thing that has that publicly viewable is YouTube, where if you go on a YouTube video, you can see how many views it is. And, like, no one watches a YouTube video. So every video has, like, 4 views.
No shit.
Yeah.
What?
So it's like, God damn it, guys. It's like...
Oh, shit. I mean...
And it's
this is new, though. You've only done, like less than a handful.
Yes, I've done 10 videos.
Okay, so you've done 10. And
I do them a new episode every Saturday.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was...
Dude, I wax them out, dude.
I thought it was a little bit more spread out. There was a little more spreadsheet there.
Dude. No, dude, I wax them out, dude. I fucking make them wax, dude.
I've just been dodging all these weeks.
Yeah.
Like all the opportunities to be...
Javi, you let me have the house. You let me have the house quite frequently, and
yeah.
And I record a pod.
I'm a nomadic...
Yeah, dude, you're a wandering spirit.
Renter.
yeah, dude, you're that wanderlust renter.
Yeah, Joey, we'll move in together.
yeah. Javi's here sometimes. But what was I going to say? What was I saying?
The podcast thing.
Yeah.
The viewers.
Oh, yeah, anyway. No, that was all I was going to say about that. Yeah, I Googled it. I was like, how to hide how many views a YouTube video has. And it's like, it's before 2019, you could
hide it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
As an uploader of a video, you could be like, make it not public. And then like, now you can't. So now it's just like 4 views.
Damn, against your will.
Yeah. It's like, fuck. But
you will show the world.
Yeah. It's like,
no matter what.
It's like, it's humiliating.
Shit. I had no idea.
But it's also exotic, I think, because I never watch a YouTube video that has less than 10 views.
That's good. That's pretty comforting to know.
To find one that has less than 10 views is like very exotic.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like a weird exotic trait.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched a video that's had less than 10 views. Like, thinking about it, yeah, but I also don't really like explore that much other than like TikTok. That's the newfound, social type.
Let's do another water and then we'll talk about TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok.
So this is a brand I'm not so familiar with, Ecowtr. I actually bought this at the airport in Denmark. Kastrup is the name of the airport. Kastrup.
Kastrup.
Yeah. And I've never seen this, but I had 2 elderflower sparkling waters in my check-in luggage. And then I'm wandering through the airport on the way back to America, and I see a 3rd one, sparkling water.
And that's this one?
Yes. Oh, God, these are the proud sponsors of the local radio station back there.
Wait, are we doing a new cup? There's a new cup for...
Yep.
Bro, this is amazing.
This is like a little sake teacup. These bubbles just visually look smaller and shittier. Let's smell it.
Yeah, the other
yeah, that's sharp. But again, dude, elderflower. It's delicious, dude. Okay, let's taste it.
Dude, this one, I mean...
What are you thinking? That smells good to you?
My right nostril's nice and clogged.
Yeah.
It smells good. And then there's this weird after smell.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, this is less clean than the first one.
Yeah.
This is kind of shitty compared to the first one.
This kind of has like a cotton candy.
Oh, wow, Hav.
Taste.
Did you taste it, or are you talking about smell?
The taste.
Cotton candy. Yeah. Yeah, cotton candy.
Kind of, right?
The sweetness is a very cotton candy-esque sweetness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So secretly there's apple juice in this, but they don't advertise that. But.
Apple juice. So...
Yeah, so this is a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, elderflower is still real nice. But...
The flower is actually still, like, in the good range of smell and taste, but...
Yeah.
The cotton candy flavor is really weird.
I think it's also, like, it's got a weird... artificial sweetener.
Yeah, definitely.
Vibe. That I don't care for.
I'm not into it.
It's a 7 out of 10. It might be even worse. Maybe it's a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm just going to say like 6-ish.
Yeah, that's a 6. On the topic of TikTok, I had this realization this week, speaking to my friend Carl Kraus, that one of the things I really enjoy about AA is that it's like anti-Instagram, in the sense that like Instagram is this thing where you get like these like single frames of someone's life that's like real good. You know, like that's the whole problem with Instagram, that you get brainwashed to believe that people have these great lives.
Yes.
It's like the one moment that they're on a boat or on a beach or wandering through the forest,
which
or like
is sometimes completely false.
Sometimes completely false, but regardless, it's like a very short. It's like a snippet of an entire week, where maybe 6 of the days were like just crying until you're gagging on your bedroom floor.
Totally, yeah. You didn't leave your room once.
Yeah. And then on Sunday you leave it and you have a glass of rosé on the patio and you take a pic.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks you have this great life. And then AA is like this thing where normal people, and especially the way the meeting I go to here is kind of mixed. It's a motley group of people. But in Seattle, I would go to these AA meetings in church basements where it would be a more normal group of like, everyone is middle-aged. Everyone has their life very much put together. Everyone's got like 5 or 25 years of sobriety. And, you know, around the edges, we got a couple of fucked up people in, like me and younger people, whatever. But the bulk is like normal people. And then those normal people sit down at the AA meeting and talk about real problems that they have, of like wanting to kill themselves. Like having fucking breakdowns, like obsessing like a motherfucker over something small that happened.
Right.
So it's like anti-Instagram in the sense that like most of their life is probably all right, but they do every week they have like one fucked up thing that really fucks them up.
It's a complete polar opposite.
Yes. And you sit in the meeting and you get to see that all these normal people, every week they have one really fucked up thing where they like, something small bad happened to them that they really spun out on and had like a total breakdown over.
Totally.
And that they're really struggling about or whatever.
Yeah, how does that impact you though? Is like, do you take that as like some validation in feeling a certain type of way with the issues that you deal with in life? Like, well, it reduces what you experience?
Yes, I think one of the ideas is to to ameliorate, to alleviate loneliness. Mm-hmm. Like feeling like you're the only person who like struggles with just obsessing about something negative or whatever.
Yeah.
To just listen to normal looking people and hear that they also struggle with anything really. Mm-hmm. And that helps with feeling lonely about it all.
Yeah, like you're not alone.
Yeah. And then
this is normal.
Yeah.
This is something that people go through on a regular basis.
And then it's just like a nice, humble, or I don't know. It just creates a sense of balance.
It does, yeah.
Because it's like this counterweight.
Yeah, I never really thought about it, but that alone, the fact that it offers that to people, that perspective is so worth going to AA. Even if you don't have an addiction, you know, it's like, or if you never struggled with anything, it's like a very healthy therapeutic thing to go to.
Yeah. It's weird because it clearly wasn't like viewing it as a counterweight to like TikTok is like, it's clearly not how it started. Like it wasn't the Instagram problem is like a new problem, but it just happens to be like a good thing for that. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's just something I was thinking about this week.
So how do you think TikTok? How did TikTok relate to it?
Well, TikTok and Instagram is just kind of the same thing in my mind. But no, they're a little bit different, and we've talked about it. And it's like the problem with it is, for me, it's the thing of the quickness of the choice.
Yes.
Like
instant gratification.
Yeah, like there's a video. If I'm not entertained by the video in the first 200 milliseconds, I go to the next video.
Yeah.
And I go to the next video, and I just keep going. And it's like when I do that for 20 minutes, my brain gets trained into this like super fucked up mode of expecting the world to gratify me within 2 seconds. Otherwise, I'm going to make a choice to discard the world.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like literally one of the most unhealthy modalities.
That's what happens when I come in the room and you just like on your back kicking your feet. Like, screaming.
Yeah.
Your phone's in the corner.
Yeah. And then I also there's this other thing of just like girls clearly struggle with this maybe more than guys, that they just see hot girls on Instagram and then they get body issues.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a guy version of it too, where you see hot girls and then it's just like harder to end up with a partner.
Yeah, I could see that. It's like, it's discouraging kind of. It's like, or what?
It's just like the girls are so pretty on TikTok that you like want a girl that's that pretty.
That's that hot, yeah.
And you want her to like be nice.
Yeah.
And like not crazy.
That's kind of hard to find.
And humble.
Yeah.
And you want to like have a rich dad.
Yeah.
But like also her own career and like
not entitled in any way.
Not entitled. She needs to be like super generous.
Yeah.
Sexually super generous.
Totally.
And it's like kind of hard to like fucking stay in a relationship.
Yeah.
And like not just break up with the girls all the time.
See, I feel like in that case, maybe you just need to deprive the visual of having that as like something that you see in an everyday life.
Totally.
You know? Because then that creates a expectancy. Because you have already created this like instant gratification type process, and that automatically somehow formats and like formulates itself into whatever it is that you're experiencing every day. So it's like once you introduce this hot girl, all these expectations, then it becomes an issue, you know, rather than if it wasn't ever even witnessed. And for a prolonged period of time, you know, expose yourself to it.
Do you never feel like you felt yourself being influenced by it?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like what?
With like watching TikTok or like seeing hot girls or like having an expectancy of like what my expectation of like what a good relationship, ideal relationship would be. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely was like, I remember even like in relationships, you know, considering that I would be in a relationship and I would see other girls that were hot.
Yes.
And it would affect my relationship.
Yeah, that's the old school version. That's the offline version.
That's the offline version.
And that's a big one too.
And that was the original, you know, like conception of whatever TikTok has evolved to be.
Yes.
So now having this like speed reel.
Because pausing on the offline version for a second, there is definitely this thing where like, especially with like a dude that's like really complacent and kind of bored in a very long-term relationship or even marriage, that those dudes have this tendency to like see these hot girls and be like, man, if I was single, I would pull that girl. And it's like, you definitely wouldn't, first of all. Like, you're a dad.
Nope.
Like, you have a dad bod. And it's like, there's this, but that's like a super easy, weird mental fallacy.
It is.
That men fall into, where they're like, you're in a relationship, you see a hot girl outside of the relationship, and your brain does this thing.
Yeah. It's delusional.
What does the brain, what is the delusional thing that the brain does? You say it out loud, Howard. I don't want to say it.
I have no idea what do you categorize it as?
No, but it's something about like, I should be with that girl.
What is that?
Yeah.
What the desire? It's not desire.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It doesn't help you stay in the relationship.
Bro, it ruins relationships.
And then,
and it ruins the image of what a relationship should be too.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You know?
And then like there are these like toxic things that people say to like counteract it that are shitty in themselves, where it's like, where people are like, well, you know, any hot girl you see, like, she's out there in a relationship with some man making his life completely miserable. Like you think she's so hot, but she fucking sucks.
She's terrible.
Yeah. She's a bitch.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's also not the answer. You know?
That's not the way.
That's also like,
that's far from what it
you're
really
like fighting poison with other poison.
Yeah.
God
it's
damn
extreme to extreme.
God damn it, how there's so many pitfalls.
Yeah. So you find like this has caused some sort of turmoil, some inner turmoil when it comes to dating girls or finding somebody that you want to be in a relationship with, because your expectations have become what they are.
I don't know. Historically, my blind spot was always like that I would like connect with someone and I'd be like, this girl is super hot. This girl has all this stuff going on. She has such a spunky big personality. And the blind spot would always be like that she's completely insane.
Right.
Like off the walls, insane. And I would end up in these relationships and it's like,
then you come out traumatized.
Yeah. And then now I'm here and I'm like, I don't know.
Do you feel like you know what you want?
I want a relationship.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
That's how I feel like you want too.
Yeah, I do. I want a serious relationship.
Yeah.
Going on dates.
Bro, going on dates in Nevada City is rough.
Yeah, I'm going on some dates and it's like, I'm not even talking about it anymore.
And then you went to Chico.
Yeah, I went to Chico. And Javi, we're not talking about this on the podcast. We're not talking about it.
Yeah, we're not doing that again. We're not going to say things that we
feel bad about afterwards.
Don't feel like we should
But
say.
it's all good. She's just a perfectly nice person out there.
Yeah. We're just not going to go there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about things.
So,
how many minutes are we in?
Dude, we're in a lot of minutes. This
is good.
But there's one more topic.
I like topics.
And it's not so much that I'm asking you questions here. It's more that I'm ranting about a thing that I think is that I'm not good at, that you are very good at, that I'm trying to get you to teach me how to be better at.
I mean, I don't mind you asking me questions at all, Joey.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would ask you questions if I had some, but it's more that I have problems with how to deal with life, and you're so much better at it. So we're zooming in on those.
That's a good way to put it. That's great that you actually feel.
Javi, you're kind of like one of those guys that's just too humble to be a cult leader. But if you weren't so humble, you'd be a cult leader. Right, you're so humble that. But zooming right past that.
That's hilarious.
I just read this book by her name is Stephanie Grisham. She was the press secretary for Melania Trump, First Lady Melania Trump for the first 2 years of the Trump presidency. And then she was the White House secretary for like a year in the third year. And then she went back to being Melania Trump's press secretary. Anyway, one of the things I took away from this book is that she had this thing, because you didn't pay attention to the news during the Trump presidency and you're better for it. But there was this thing in the Trump presidency where a lot of people kept getting fired. And they replaced people at a much higher pace.
Okay.
Is this a concept that's familiar to you at all?
No.
Wow.
Not at all.
In the Trump presidency, he just kept firing people and people kept quitting. And everyone was leaking to the press about how everything was going poorly. And he kept firing people because the blah, blah, blah. People kept quitting. And her thing was that she remained popular with Donald Trump for a long time. The girl who wrote this book that I just read. She remained popular for a long time. And he kept firing people. And there was a lot of backstabbing. There was a lot of like, you bring someone in, you say that, oh yeah, this person is going to fix everything. And then 6 months later, he's like, yeah, that person is a fucking loser and a fucking coward. And he would be extremely mean to the people he fired.
Okay.
That was sort of the Trump pattern.
Yeah.
And then her thing was that for this whole time, she saw him destroy good people as he was firing them.
Okay.
And she always had this idea, sort of ego-driven idea that that's not going to happen to her. Like, that's not going to happen.
Like,
she's like,
she was invincible.
Yeah. She's like, that's not going to happen to me, though. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm a little bit special. And I really related to that sort of reoccurring meta idea in this book.
Yeah.
Because I, for some reason, have such an easy time imagining that, like, I'll have bad people in my life. Like, people who, like, do evil shit to other people.
Yeah.
And then I'm always like, they're not going to do evil shit to me, though.
Totally.
And I like keep them in my life for years. And it's like, well, actually, there's one thing where like the last restaurant I worked at in Seattle is just exactly like the Trump White House. And we would call him Vietnamese Donald Trump, the guy who was the owner of the restaurant, because he was just crazy. And he would have these meetings where he would no one would even talk about anything. He would just talk. Yeah. For an hour, because he liked to like riff the way Donald Trump rallies are like just Trump riffing. But so there he would angrily and mean-spiritedly he would fire people at the restaurant. And for some reason I always felt like, well, I'm so fucking good at this, like I'm not going to end up in the crosshairs. It's never going to happen to me. Yeah, and then it happened to me and he was super mean to me and it destroyed me, and it destroyed me on two levels, because it both destroyed me that I felt bad that he said all those mean things to me and fired me and I lost my job and everything was shitty. But there was this other level where I was like, I had this whole time imagined that...
Yeah, the fortress you built around yourself mentally was shattered and just like obliterated in a second.
And like, I felt so silly that I didn't see it coming.
Right.
Because I saw it happening over and over to like good people. Yeah. Like you have a bartender who's been bartending for 20 years and they're a great bartender. And then they make one mistake and he's just like in an angry mood. And he just like yells at the person for 40 minutes and then fires them.
Yeah.
And it's just like so mean and unprofessional.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that. Do you think did that develop some sort of complex like later on? Because you believed so truly that person was never going to do it to you. And for you to actually like truly believe and just the thought that it could be so far from true, but like really in like a logical way of thinking, there's no reason that you're
immune.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Like it's delusion. It's just being delusional, and it's like ego-driven delusion.
Totally.
And it's like this sort of naive delusional thing. Mm-hmm. And it's like
it's a very immature thing to think.
And it's like, so on this other level, when I got fired, I was like just so embarrassed that I like was sort of drinking the Kool-Aid for a while.
Right. Yeah.
And would like stand up for him maybe.
Yeah.
Like defend some of his decisions. And I found that super, so that's like a comparison that's like super similar to what was in the book. But then I've had just these other much worse experiences where I've had like friends, like I've had many experiences like this, but there's one sort of bigger thing where like in Shanghai I had these group of friends, and some of them were like these French guys, and they were super rapey with women.
Yeah, I remember Matt talking about certain things.
Yeah.
And just being like, what? Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah,
Seriously?
They would be super rapey with women, and I was young, and I just hadn't really like landed in interpretations of the world, so I wasn't sure of like when and where to take a stand. And these people were like be like 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
And they would be these big brother figures, and they would like really come at me and be like, no, that girl was a fucking whore. Mm-hmm. And I would be like, oh, that girl was a whore? Oh.
Yeah.
And I would like believe them. And then the thing that happened that obliterated me on the both levels is that like I had this girlfriend, and like she got wasted at this party once, and they were like super rapey with her, and they like, she was passed out, and they were just like rubbing her pussy and stuff.
Wow. And
I was like passed out next to her in a bed, and it's just like,
really?
So,
dude, that's fucked up.
Like, super like, traumatizing.
That's like a deep rooted type of scar that, how do you, that's something that I feel like if I were to go through, my mind would just naturally, for no reason, go back to that time and think about like that, and it would just like affect me deeply. Yeah. In some way, you know, like not any definable way of like how it would affect me, but it would be on my mind, and it would come off as like a disturbing thing very frequently. Yeah.
Yeah, like after that happened, there was a lot of me, I would like lay awake at night and feel like really hot. Like my forehead would feel really hot because I was just like so angry, and frustrated.
I know exactly. Yeah, I know exactly the feeling.
It's so crazy. And the crazy thing is like she handled it so much better than I did.
Yeah.
Like she was just so much more resilient and mature and had like these realistic expectations of the world.
Yeah.
And she was like so much better at life than I was.
You know, I feel like women are exposed to like certain realities at a younger age. Like Christiana and I were talking about this the other day. It's like men aren't, you know, like we're kind of privileged in a way where we don't have to experience certain circumstantial realities that exist for all women all the time, and no matter what age you are. And sometimes it's like painfully true that it happens at a very young age. So like the fact that you feel like she actually handled it better than you is totally reasonable. You know, 'cause she's probably dealt with shit like that her whole life. Yeah. And this is something that you know, like probably haven't experienced up until that point in life.
Pretty much, yeah.
That was the first experience.
Yeah, but it's like by proxy. Like I wasn't the victim of like sexual harassment or assault or whatever. Assault, I would call it sexual assault. I think is the
sexual assault for sure.
Correct label. But it's like it was like just by proxy, you know.
Totally.
And it's like, I don't know. I was just so fucked on so many levels because it's like, yeah, I couldn't get over how much better she was at just processing it and how I couldn't process it. And so that's like one thing that I felt so frustrated about. And then there was this other thing of like how I realized retroactively, like all these times that they'd been rapey and that I had like sort of bought that.
Yeah.
And just been part of a culture.
Yes.
Like, not that
Not that you partook in any of it, but it was just like
being a bro to dudes like that.
Accepting who they are and what they did. And it's just like, and somehow rationalizing it in your mind that happened for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty profound experience to come to terms with, you know. It's a long-term experience.
Yeah, it's a downer.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, there's a downer.
But when you're young, it's just like you're so impressionable. It's not anything that you should beat yourself up over. But it's just like, it's hard to process.
Yeah. No, it's more like I'm disappointed that I still have these traits of like, it's almost like I think one of my problems is that I'm a little bit too, like I'm a people pleaser and I really get on people's level.
Yeah.
Like I really just like to, it's interesting because with you and me, it's so different. Like you don't pull this out of me at all. But like, I just like to talk to anyone.
Totally.
And I like will bend too much to be like the person I'm talking to.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't have a very solid core.
Yes. Very chameleon.
Yes.
Type skin.
Yes. And it can lead to when you stretch that all the way to your values and you spend a lot of time with people that maybe have other values than you and you just sort of like bend your own values.
Yes.
It's
it can be problematic.
It gets weird.
Dude, I mean, I feel like I've struggled with the same thing my whole life.
Yeah.
More in the past couple of years, I've learned and acknowledged that this has been an issue for me because it hasn't served me in any positive way other than pleasing the people that I'm interacting with.
Yeah.
You know, at that moment.
Yeah.
But if anything, it causes more of an issue within myself and who I'm specifically, like if you're partnered, that's another thing. Like if you have a significant other that you spend all your time with and you behave like this, and this is a very incompatible thing that can exist together. You know, it's like that causes issues because you are being insincere in so many different ways, even though you are like sincerely trying to have a conversation or interact or like be liked or please other people. But it's like, it's a weird ground to always have your feet in.
So you feel like you have constant, solid, your own values that are in there?
Yes. Now I do. Before it was like very questionable. Something, I don't know what it was that solidified it. Yeah. You know, like more than it's ever been. Because even still to this day, like I can, even though I say it's like those values are they're like the core. Yeah. You can still spend enough time with me and for a long period of time and still see these little hallmarks of like what I used to be at the peak of me trying to please other people.
Like what?
Know? I don't know. It was just
it's
like
very abstract.
It's like almost a form of imitation, you know? Or like like acting a certain type of way because you know that people are going to respond to you in like like they like you more because you act or say a certain thing.
Yeah.
That's just kind of a rough view on something that I would do all the time.
Yeah.
It was just like a simplistic way
People
of
pleasing
behaving constantly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not valuing who I am.
Yeah. I don't know. I really struggle with, like, sometimes I barely even believe in the fucking, I don't even think identity exists.
I mean,
it's weird.
Identity is a weird thing.
Like, you meditate enough and it feels like it's just like, there's just one consciousness in the universe and any sort of thing. And
I mean,
any sort of individualization is an illusion.
Now that's a pretty high form of thinking, Joey.
Well,
because that actually is arguably something that people that meditate and like the higher vibrational thought would resonate with, is like you would consider that you are everything and everyone is you, and
that's
all
what
the
my
experiences.
AA sponsor thinks.
Thanks, Joey.
My AA sponsor is really hung up on the infinite openness and oneness of...
Yeah, like all experiences are you, and maybe it's just like this quantum existence.
Man, dude, my AA sponsor is so fucking nice. He's got so many, like, he's got this one belief, but depending on how or when we're talking about it, he has all these different languages for it. Like, he has sponsees, like people he used to sponsor for, who are like Christian. And then he talks to them about this like openness in this specific way. And then with me, he talks about the exact same thing in a completely atheist language of like the openness of it. Yeah. And then he has this like in the meetings, he'll talk about it in this like more general, palatable to everyone way where he like, well, you know, you do the 12 steps and it will lead you to realizing, I'll just quote him. His name is Howie. He'll be like, it will make me realize that I should not believe the lie that I am Howie. Instead, I should wake up and realize that I am a child of God. And it's like, it's like Buddhism, but it's Buddhism expressed with Christian language.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's like the idea that you have this name and everything, it's like this really sort of, it's an illusion.
Yeah.
Like that shit is like...
That's the ego.
Yeah, that's just the ego that you can, there are many, many drugs we can give you that can show you that that's an illusion.
Yeah, totally.
And really, when you wake up, you realize, and then fill in the blank. Like you can use so many words for what it is that you realize. Yeah. But to realize that you are a child of God is like this really, it's like this Christian kind of beautiful way of...
Yeah.
It's like to realize that ego doesn't exist is to realize that you are a child of God. I think that's like so fucking nice.
It's like he formats it to the listener.
Yeah, and then with me, he'll be like, when it's just him and me one-on-one, it'll be like, you know, he'll just talk about how you read. Actually, he'll quote like all these like old Indian meditation teachers and say shit that I don't even... He'll talk about the Brahman, you know?
Yeah. But does it resonate with you?
Oh,
you feel like the impact of it hits in the right places?
Yes. He gets me. Because,
so he understands the language that's necessary.
He understands how he should talk to me because that shit, like... Those old way... Like the early Buddhist writings that were like not when it wasn't a religion, when it was just observations about how the mind works... When it was just like, it wasn't like a belief, life is suffering. It was just like this observation that like, oh, as we stay alive, we're just suffering all the time. Like it was just these series of observations about like, okay, so we can actually sort of move away from wanting things more and that will make us maybe suffer less. And it was like this sort of set of self-help principles.
Totally.
And like, those things resonate with me like a motherfucker. Like those original, before they turned Buddhism into a religion just because it needed to be used by a government and stuff.
I mean, yeah.
That shit's nice.
And that's pretty dope. The alteration of your perception is pretty key to having like different perspectives.
Yeah.
On whether you're experiencing pain or you're fortunate.
Yeah.
Or you're a terrible person.
Yeah. So, should we do the last water?
Let's do the last water.
It's
what is this?
It's 1:20 a.m. right now.
Dude, we're doing great.
We're so tired right now.
My eyes are probably...
Dude, my eyes are tired right now.
These lights make them feel like they're 50% closed.
Okay, so here's the thing. This one is elderflower and pear.
Oh.
The first one was elderflower and lime. The second one was elderflower, but if you read the ingredients, there's some apple juice in there. Third one, pear. So let's smell it.
Smell.
So I'm smelling a lot of that sort of pear popsicle.
There's a lot of pear going on in
Frozen pear popsicle.
But it smells good.
Piggelin is a Swedish pear.
Piggelin.
Yeah, Piggelin.
Oh, yeah. It's so peary to begin, like, as it enters the nostril, is like peary, and then very small hint of passion fruit. No. Elderberry.
Elderberry / elderflower.
Elderflower. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, important thing here is that these bubbles are garbage.
Dude, they are like almost non-existent.
This is almost not carbonated.
Dude, you know what it's like? It's like sprinkling salt on your tongue.
Yes, Loka.
Loka.
This is Loka. The third brand here is Loka. It's like sprinkling salt. It's like, yes, it's like a weird, it's like, what is that? It's like if you took baking soda.
Yeah. It has a chemical reaction.
Yeah. It's like you took baking soda and put it in water and drank that. It's like, and called it carbonated.
It had this like, this natural tendency to just settle on the surface of your tongue. It doesn't bubble. It just like sits on your tongue. Yeah. It's the weirdest form of carbonation I've ever experienced.
So that ruins
Loka. Yeah. I don't really like Loka.
No. And it's also way too flavored.
What is that?
It's artificial and bad.
Dude, that's next level artificial. Like they created, I didn't think that bubbles could be considered artificial. They're all not real bubbles, Joey.
Nah, this is shit.
This
one is 2 out of 10.
Digital bubble here.
This one is 2 out of 10. It's garbage.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to give it a 1.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give it a 2, but that's all right. All right.
So bad.
I think that's an episode. Was there anything else you wanted to say, Hav?
No, I really enjoyed it. It was good. It's nice.
You got everything off your chest?
I didn't really come up here with any
that's true.
Desire to. I don't even know what to expect anytime I come up here.
Yeah, you're just a free. Your heart is just a free flowing river.
It's good.
You don't build a dam.
No, and I don't have any little cobblestones to be working with either, Joey.
No, it's
It's good to just come up here and like try to forget.
Yeah.
There's any fear involved.
Yeah, it's a liminal space.
Because that is one thing. It's like growing up, being in a situation, like ballooning the idea of being in front of people or like speaking the anxiety that builds with the simple thought. That's something to conquer for sure. It's like one of the biggest issues I feel like I've had to deal with.
You used to be shy like that?
Extremely shy. Or just like overly sensitive. To people just like even putting any attention on me.
Yeah.
I mean, technically there's not anybody looking at us right now, but
no,
the notion of it is almost the equivalent of it.
3 YouTube views.
3 YouTube views, yeah.
YouTube views.
YouTubes.
Oh, I'm so tired. 2 a.m.
Yeah, we did it, Joey.
Okay, we did it. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening. I love you guys.